So, what on earth does an ancient wine cellar have to do with building a modern digital empire? It seems like they're worlds apart, right? But today, we're going to pull back the curtain because there's this hidden architecture that connects them both. And you're about to see that the blueprints for building things that truly last, whether they're physical or digital, share some really universal and honestly fascinating principles.
So let's just dive right in with this question. What can a structure from 3,600 years ago possibly teach us about something as new and fast-paced as viral marketing? Well, the answer, as it turns out, is pretty much everything. It all comes down to the design, the structure, and the real purpose behind building something to endure.
And this gets to the very first core idea. See, good architecture, it isn't just about looking good. It's about creating real, actual, measurable value. A well-designed wine cellar physically increases a property's market value, no question. And as we're about to see, a well-designed digital system does the exact same thing for a business.
Okay, so that brings us to principle number 1, the foundation. Every single great system, I don't care if it's built with bricks or with code, it starts right here. And if you get this part wrong, well, everything you try to build on top of it is pretty much at risk.
Just look at this parallel here. On the left, you've got a classic blueprint for a cellar. That's a plan for organizing physical space. And on the right, you've got templates for a database, a plan for organizing information. They look totally different, I get it, but at their core, they are both foundational blueprints. The thinking behind them is exactly the same.
Now, in the physical world, these first steps are, well, they're basically permanent. You dig a hole, you pour the concrete. Trying to change these decisions later, it's a huge pain and it's incredibly expensive. You really only get one shot to get the size and the shape right from the get-go. And guess what? It's the exact same in the digital world. Before you write a single line of code or build out a database, you have to define your goals. You have to outline that base structure. Choosing your data fields and your field types, that's like pouring digital concrete. It sets the foundation for everything that comes after. An Airtable user on Reddit really put it perfectly. They said, "It's much harder to deconstruct a complicated in-flight system than add to a simple one." And that is the key takeaway here. Start with a simple, solid foundation, and you can build and scale almost forever. But if you start with a complex mess, you are just in for a world of pain.
All right. So once that foundation is set, the next job of any great architecture is to control the environment. It's all about protecting whatever is valuable inside. And that could be fine wine, sure, but it could also be sensitive data, or even something as fragile as a customer's attention.
And let me tell you, the threats are everywhere. A wine cellar has to protect the wine from its physical enemies: light, heat, vibration, you name it. In the digital world, a really well-designed survey has to protect data from its own kind of enemies. Things like leading questions that totally bias the answer, or confusing jargon. In both cases, the goal is the same. You have to prevent the contamination that would ruin the very asset you're trying to protect.
In a cellar, control means precision. The ideal temperature for aging wine is a constant 55 degrees Fahrenheit. So why so specific? Well, if it gets any warmer, the wine ages way too fast, and it loses all its complex flavors. Any cooler, and the whole aging process just stalls. It has to be just right.
And that same precision extends to humidity, which has to be kept right at 60%. If it's too dry, the corks actually shrink, and they let in these tiny amounts of oxygen that'll spoil the wine over time. Too damp? Now you're risking mold all over the labels. It's a really finely tuned system, and every little detail matters.
So how do you even maintain that perfect balance? Well, builders use these critical components, like what you see here, a vapor barrier. It's basically a seal. It's this plastic sheet that literally stops moisture from moving through the walls. It's the one thing that prevents condensation and mold, which would completely ruin the entire environment. So think about that vapor barrier. It stops physical leaks. Well, in the very same way, good survey design, using neutral, clear questions, it acts as a sort of conceptual vapor barrier. It stops leaky, unreliable data from bad questions from getting in and contaminating your results.
And this idea of controlling the environment, it can have absolutely staggering results in the digital world. Check this out. One marketing agency saw a 1,071% increase in website traffic from Instagram in a single month. And their secret weapon? A simple Lincoln Bio